Welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're actually going to be making a micro or finesse jig using a silicone skirt as well as some living rubber. The supplies that we'll need today is of course our jig head. I do make my own. I will add a link in the description to the mold that I am using for this. The jig head is a 3/16 ounce and it's using a, I think it's a 1/0 owner hook. I'll add that in the description. It also does have a little bait keeper, which is really awesome. And then there is, I don't know if you can see that or not, there is a little spot there for a weed guard. So this is pretty much the perfect micro jig mold that you need. The next thing we'll need is of course our silicone skirt that we're going to tie on. This is just a black and blue with a blue flake in it. And then I do have some living rubber that I'm going to add into there. We will also need our scissors, just a fine point scissors, fine. Then our bobbin with some thread on it. I'm using 210 denier flat wax nylon thread. See that there. And then I do have a little bit of 26 gauge wire that I'm using to finish it up with. You can see that there. Some wire snips. And then I do have these little hair clips just to kind of help hold the silicone skirt and living rubber out of my way as I'm tying. So we'll get into it now. All right, get our jig head secured here. Just adjusting it to get it nice and tight. Make sure you guys are lined up so you can see this. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut our silicone skirt in half here. So I'm just going to fold it over to find that halfway point. I'm just going to cut it in half there. So pretty simple. Then I do have my living rubber. It's cut to be about the same length as the skirt material. So then we will lay down our first little base layer here. Just going to wrap that around. We'll do a loop finish, or loop knot real quick, just to help secure it in place. Cut off that extra. Then we'll grab one of our silicone skirt tabs here. I like to use the top part that's still all connected. I'll put that at the base of the head, just a little bit easier there. So we'll lay that on. Do a couple loops on that to get that secured. Make any adjustments that we need to make. Kind of evenly distribute it. Then we'll take a really small piece of our living rubber, not very much. I mean, there's probably only about 4 or 5 strands there, so not a whole lot. We'll add that on there as well. And this is where I like to use these little hair clips that I've found. I'll put a link to those as well in the description. I like to use them because it just kind of secures it up and out of my way, so I can rotate it over. Now we're just going to repeat the same process. We're going to take our silicone skirt, the other half of it, lay it on the top there, do a couple wraps. I'm going to use that hair tie again. I'm going to kind of secure that in place. We will look at it and make any adjustments that we need to make to get that secured on there. And then again, we will take a little bit of our living rubber, just a few strands of it here, lay that on top of that, a couple wraps, and then secure that again in place using our hair tie, our hair clip. I like to rotate it back around, and now we're just going to do the kind of the following wraps here. So we'll do, you know, I do 5 or 6, and then I do a little whip finish. You can use a whip finishing tool if you need to. It's perfectly fine. Do a couple whip finishes. We will cut off that excess. This is where I grab a little bit of that wire. As mentioned before, it's 26 gauge wire. Just a little bit of that to kind of do a final securing of it on the jig head. Just enough to wrap it around. I do just a couple loops. You don't need much on this little finesse jig. And then we do twist it together. Cut off the excess. You can see there's just a little nub there. What I do is I always just press it flat, so it lays flat on there, no issue. And now we can actually cut our skirt here. So this is something that I learned through other people in my previous videos I have made for jig tying. I used to pull these living rubber bands apart by hand, and somebody made the comment saying, hey, you can, you know, pull that tight and actually cut it as well, and it will break them all apart. So I take that living rubber, pull it tight, take the scissors, and then I just start cutting it, and it all breaks apart nicely. So don't remember who said that, but I definitely appreciate you. That saved me a lot of time. So do that. And we'll do the top part here with our silicone now. Now we'll do the bottom part of the living rubber. Our silicone skirt's already broke up on the bottom part, so we don't have to do that, which is nice. So again, pull it tight, and then just slowly cut it, and each of the strands of living rubber will break apart. Alright. So this is our jig now. Obviously the skirt's pretty long there. I mean, you can keep it however long you want, but I prefer to cut mine up, so I'm gonna kind of flatten it up. Let's see where that hook, bottom of the hook is, and I'm gonna cut it just a little bit below that hook. There we go. Try to show that to you there. Now the final step, which is kind of difficult to show, but I will make an attempt to here, is to glue in that silicone or the fiber weed guard. And to do that, you really have to get all these fibers out of the way here, the silicone and the living rubber, and get a little bit of super glue on there and push it in. So as I'm getting ready to glue in the fiber weed guard, I did forget to mention kind of what I'm using to do all that. So I have some super glue here that I dab on the weed guard, and then the weed guard I'm using is actually an FG12 fiber weed guard. See that there? It's pretty small, but I mean that's what we're looking for. There's probably, I don't know, only 12 strands in there or so. Like I said, I'm not sure how well this is going to turn out because it's really difficult to show. So the first thing I'll do here is I'll take the fiber weed guard and I'll add just a little dollop of super glue on there. Not much. Definitely do not need a lot. Very small amount. And we'll take our skirt, our jig, and try to push that skirt out of the way at the top here. So so we can at least see those. All right, it took a little bit of finessing, but we finally got that weed guard in there, so you can see got our weed guard all secured up, and that's our finished product there. The only thing that's kind of left, and it's really up to you, is that weed guard is a little bit longer than I typically like. I would cut it back here, so totally up to you. But other than that, ready to go. Just, you know, throw on a little plastic bait if you like. You can use just a Cinco or really anything. These micro jigs are great for smallmouth, and then honestly just any tough condition days where the fish just aren't as active. You know, throwing something like this can really help you out a lot. So anyways, yeah, if you have any questions or something that I missed, feel free to comment down below, and I'll do my best to help you out and explain anything I can. So thanks for watching, and until next time.